Tom and Joe Auto Show, starring Tom Tharp, librarian, and Joe Bucci, ex-massage therapist. They're going to talk your socks off about everything cool in the automotive world. Welcome, Tom and Joe.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Tom and Joe Auto Show. Big episode number 5. How's it going over there, Joe?
It's going great, Tom. Episode 5, ready to do it.
All right, let's get right into it. Our intro's up top. Little known fact. Yeah. I love the library.
I didn't realize that about you, Tom.
I love the Dewey Decimal System.
Who doesn't?
I love it all. I love encyclopedias. I love all that stuff. I spend a lot of time in the library.
Do you have, librarian glasses?
You know what I like about librarians is
What's
there's
that?
always some secret about them. You know what I mean?
Well, I really I didn't even know that.
They're sort of a laced up, sort of a conservative person in the library, quiet.
Yeah.
But, outside of the library, they're like wild. That's me.
All right.
That's all I'm going to say.
No, that's good. That's enough. That's plenty.
Okay. Good. Now tell me about your title here, ex-massage therapist. I'm intrigued.
Well, most people, especially people listening to the show right now, probably think that, my hands are good for things like turning wrenches, that sort of thing. Maybe polishing wheels, But the truth is that these hands can do a lot of things.
They're soothing.
Yeah, they are soothing.
Delicate touch.
No, they can be delicate. They can be strong. It takes a lot of training to be a massage therapist, and it takes a lot of restraint to be an ex-massage therapist.
Well, I was wondering, ex would imply that maybe there was an incident or...
No, nothing like that.
I don't know if legally you're allowed to... Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up. Okay, moving on. Okay, we've got some good topics for you, everybody. First up, we're going to talk a little bit about just a topic I'm so happy about. The horsepower wars are back.
Yeah, it's true, and we've kind of been hinting around to that with the vehicles we've spoken about in the past couple of episodes, but horsepower is in these days.
There's a car that is called the Hellcat. That's the name.
Yeah, that's insane.
I mean, that's the name of the freaking car is Hellcat. What a world we live in. I'm so happy to be living in this world right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. A factory vehicle. You walk into the car dealership, you walk out with a vehicle with 707 horsepower.
Oh my gosh. And the concept of the black key and the red key.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
How great. What a great, just like conversation piece that would be, to have that. Yeah,
it really is. And the cars, they use the power, These cars are running 11 flat, breaking into the 10s in these factory cars.
I know, amazing. We talked a little bit about magazines last week. I've got a Hot Rod magazine in front of me here where just by chance they are covering this topic. They have on the cover the Corvette supercharged LT4 and the Hemi supercharged, V8 from the Hellcat there.
Right.
They have them both on the cover. And, it's a good-looking car. I've always been a fan of the Challenger's looks.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's the of the retro look that the car makers have been doing. I think it's the most like the original.
And when you I totally agree. And when you get into the specs and the engineering of this engine, it's a very sophisticated engine.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of technology in these new motors.
And I almost think it's, an overly sophisticated engine for the platform. I don't know, some Dodge people might hate me saying that, but I don't know. To me, this engine, I'd like to see this engine in something else. I don't know, Viper maybe?
It seems like it. I know there was some talk about the fact that this engine actually makes more horsepower than the Viper engine.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it just seems wrong.
Yeah, but what a good setup. I love that these muscle cars handle well. I love that they have Brembos all around.
Yep.
I just love what they do. My favorite feature, I think, I mean, other than the awesome horsepower and everything, is that high beam headlight. You know, they've got the quad headlights.
Right.
The high beam headlight is just air intakes.
Yeah, that is
That's
really
something,
cool.
That's something I would do in the garage, Joe.
Yeah, they took away the pleasure of you going to Home Depot and buying the stuff you need to make that happen.
I like buying a $60,000 car and then doing Home Depot mods to it.
Right.
That's American, baby.
Yeah, dryer hose, you know? Who doesn't have some dryer hose in their car somewhere?
You know, I remember many, many years ago, I was making a cold air intake. Oh, this is the 90s. And I found this stuff at Home Depot, this plastic gutter, shapeable gutter.
Okay.
Oh, my old buddy and I, it was like we struck gold. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because
Yep.
other stuff would collapse or get kind of weak on you. This stuff was bulletproof.
Oh, that's amazing.
But boy, the horsepower wars, I'm digging it. In this same issue, right, ahead of this article, is they give an exploded view and a complete breakdown of the Z06's supercharged LT4.
Yeah, that engine is crazy too.
It is. I think we talked about this when you were here visiting, and how if you would just take this engine back in time and show it to a hot rodder and tell them it's supercharged. I mean, it's flat on top.
Yeah, they would be wondering where the big polished aluminum blower is.
It's flat. I mean, it's like a Foreman grill, the top of this engine. It's just amazing to me that they fit this. They package all of this within the banks of the cylinder heads. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, that low hood in the Corvette, packaging all that displacement and a supercharger on top of it in that engine bay couldn't have been easy.
Oh, I know. And, these articles, this is one thing, we talked about magazines, and what's great about magazines, wherever you get them, whether you get them electronically or in print, is the deep dive they go on a topic like this. I mean, they're breaking down in this article, the rods and the guy who made the supercharger assembly, the engineer, and, there's him posing with it, and how they work with suppliers and things to design these things, all the different parts. It's just really, really fascinating if you're a car guy. I don't care if you're not into Chevy or what. This is just interesting from an engineering and, just car guy standpoint.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm looking at some of the features of that LT4 engine. Aluminum cylinder heads. Yeah, the people have been doing that. Titanium intake valves. This engine's a 10-to-1 compression ratio in a forced induction application. That's pretty high.
That is.
Forged pistons, stainless exhaust headers, an aluminum balancer, a dry sump oiling system. That's crazy.
It is. It's race car stuff. Well, did you hear the story about one of the early failures of the supercharged LT4?
I haven't.
Yeah, this came out late last week. I saw it on the Corvette Forums website, which I lurk on from time to time. I'm not going to lie. The forums, I get in there and poke around a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was a engine failure. I think the guy, I'm going to mess up the details. If you go to Corvette Forum, you'll read all about it. They've got it on their homepage. And he had he was doing a break-in. He was toward the end of the break-in.
Right.
And he was going to take it to a track day, like a road course track day. And he just got on it for the first time, and it just, blew apart inside. It was knocking real loud and everything else. So they sent him a replacement engine, though.
Oh, yeah?
To his dealership, and they were going to put it in there free of charge.
That's don't worry, we have a replacement engine for you.
You know what I love about car guy stuff? It's never cut and dried. Like, oh, you blew the engine, it was definitely the engine. All these questions came up, like maybe he did the old third. What would you do? The when you throw down the wrong gear?
Yeah, you try to go third to fourth.
Third to fourth, you go.
Yeah, third to second. Ouch.
Yeah, so but of course he's like, no, and it was just a kind of a theory that somebody threw there, a conspiracy theory somebody threw out.
Right.
I thought was kind of interesting, which I've definitely never done anything like that.
No, definitely not.
I don't know if I told you, I did that once in my Talon, did the old third to second, and it read like I had a Super AFC, believe it or not, at the time,
right?
And it read 11,000 something RPM.
Oh man.
I don't know how. I mean, I guess it's accurate. I don't know, but it was kind of scary.
My old, I think I've talked about it in a previous episode. My '77 Chevy Monza, police package 350, and automatic transmission with a B&M ratchet shifter with no reverse lockout.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, I threw that thing right in reverse at about 75 miles an hour and went spinning off the road. Anyway.
Whoa.
Oh, we're gonna get too off track here, Tom.
That's all right. You know, I just wish cars, you could just order just about any car with the police package.
Yeah.
You know, where you get the oil cooler, you get the big
Right.
alternator, you get that dome light, that big old dome light. I wish you could just get any car like that.
Yeah, it should be
Police
that way.
package. Yeah. So other, I mean, we could just go on all day about this topic. I mean, we've talked about the CTS-V. Obviously, that thing's bringing the thunder with this same LT4 engine.
Right.
A little less horsepower, but still amazing performance. And then the Mustang, I mean, I know there's some cool stuff coming for the Mustang at the Detroit Auto Show here real soon. But, I mean, look what Ford has done with the 5.0. Excellent engine.
Oh yeah, that engine is they're back with the 5.0, you know, like they used to have, but this one's totally different. They've got the horsepower level up to 435 at this point, 400 foot-pounds of torque, and that's their base Mustang GT. They got the GT 350 coming with the flat plane crank and all of that.
Oh yes, I've heard there's a video of that's supposedly that engine in a mule running at the Nürburgring. That's on YouTube.
Wow.
And it sounds so cool.
Yeah, it does sound cool. Even the little promo they did where they revved it up a little bit, you know.
What a weird thing for them to do. They did. I mean, it just takes a lot of guts on their part. Because I mean, why would they have to develop a flat plane cranked V8? Like they would not need to do that.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know that they tried to go for that high RPM type power on the Boss Mustang.
Yeah.
And
which was a great car.
It was. So they've kind of carried over some of the Boss parts to this GT350, and they've developed this new engine. And what's the red line? I think it's 8,200 RPM.
Oh, it's amazing. I tell you what, it's just in today's like cost cutter, conservative automotive, you know, world, it's just amazing to me that they're like, oh, flat plane crank V8. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, make it happen.
Yeah, 8,000 warranty and everything. Yeah, why not? You know, I mean, on a production line car, you know, not an exotic car, low, you know, I mean, it's really incredible. And speaking of the Mustang Boss quickly, I think one cool feature and one kind of head-scratching feature, the coolest feature to me of that previous Boss was the exhaust that ran out the back, and then they also had the two pipes that came out the side. And it would
you know
switch.
What? I had a picture. I had some video of that in my PRI video.
Yeah.
They had a Mustang up on its side so you could see the bottom, and I did notice that exhaust, but I didn't. Is that the factory setup?
You could get that. It might have been on just one of the track specials. They had like, what was it called? They had, I'm going to forget it, like Laguna Seca version or whatever.
Right, okay.
I'm messing it up right now, but they had a couple more aggressive versions, and I believe it was on those.
Right, okay.
I'm sure the Mustang guys are going, no, you idiot, it was on this or that. But so, yes, it was available, but it's a popular bolt-on too, since it bolts right up. But yeah, really cool setup with a dual, you know, louder and more street-friendly setup.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that. Any exhaust that exits in front of the rear wheel, I've always loved that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because you're doing the burnout, and it's blowing the smoke back.
Yeah, that is cool.
You know, it just adds a little fury. So, anyway.
So Ford, they got the 2015 Mustang happening with that motor we were just talking about, that new 5-liter, and then they have the V6, and they have the EcoBoost 4-cylinder, which is opening the door for the new Focus RS.
Totally pumped about that. Can't wait.
They're saying that thing could best the Mustang's EcoBoost 2.3 output of 310 horsepower, maybe being as high as 350 horsepower.
You know, if it's all-wheel drive and it's a pretty good package and price, that could be a future Tharp-mobile. I'm serious.
You think so?
I'm serious.
Oh, man.
It's a heck of a setup, and the Ford engines, you can always tune them and stuff, and
right.
You know, I don't know, man. Pretty attractive.
Yeah, and then just a couple more that I made some notes on. I'm wondering about maybe a ZR1 in the future.
Oh, yeah.
So who knows what that could be, but I've also heard of a possible 600 horsepower version of the Lexus RCF.
Yeah, I've heard rumors about that one. And, all the specials they've made to the Camaro are very impressive, too, given just the size and everything of that car. I mean,
yeah.
the Z28
Yep.
is just like blowing everybody away as far as, editorial people and stuff reviewing it and comparing it to other vehicles. I mean, that's an incredible, like, race car for the street.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Z28.
I guess the performance, on a road course is pretty amazing in that car, from what I've read.
Yeah. So, and there's supposed to be a new version of the Camaro coming out based on the ATS platform, like whatever the ATS is built on.
Oh, okay. Will that be smaller than the current Camaro?
Well, supposedly, and boy, I sure hope so. It'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice because the Camaro is kind of a tank.
Yeah. Have you ever sat in one?
No, I never have.
Impossible to see out of.
Right.
It's sort of the bane of any of these cars. The Mustang, I would say it's the best as far as visibility goes.
Right.
And the Challenger is probably next in line, and then the Camaro is by far the worst.
Yeah.
You can't see anything out of it.
Yeah, they're going for the aesthetics on the outside, I guess.
Looks great, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff coming out. I've heard that they're talking about a new Grand National or GNX. It'll be interesting to see what that ends up being like.
Well, I've heard a few people saying that the Detroit Auto Show this year is going to be just about horsepower and performance. That's it this year. So
all right, I'm good with that.
I know. I can't wait. It's just days away, Joe.
All right, yeah, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that.
And the best thing about the horsepower wars?
What's that?
It's a war where everybody wins.
Definitely, yes.
Everybody wins. We might not get to own all these cars, but we can enjoy them and watch cool videos of people doing burnouts and stuff, and maybe someday hope to own one.
Yeah, someday we can browse the used market 5 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Tom. Well, let's take a break. You can hear about our personal YouTube channels coming up here, and we'll get on to our next topic.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, we're back. Everybody listening, if you're not aware, Tom and I each have our own YouTube channels where we do car-related videos. If you search on YouTube for Tom's Turbo Garage, you can find Tom. If you want to look for Joe Wrenches, you'll find my videos there. So on to the next topic. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. So we're going to talk about a topic, probably one of my favorites. I could spend a few episodes on this, but you can't go wrong with a sleeper.
Oh yeah, sleepers. And real quick, this topic was suggested by Alex on Facebook.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you, Alex, because this is a topic I also enjoy. Sleepers are just, I don't know, they're just so much fun.
I've always loved them, even when I was a kid. I mean, I appreciated an over-the-top car. A show car or something, big engine sticking out of the hood, loud, all that. But I always admired a car that looked plain Jane, but then had this just uppercut of performance hiding underneath the surface. Just always dug it.
Oh, yeah, it's really cool. It's fun to surprise people. It's fun to see people's reactions. The first thing that comes to mind recently for me when I think of sleepers is what's popular right now is the farm truck guy, You've seen the YouTube videos, you've seen him on Street Outlaws. It's just an unassuming farm truck. And, man, that thing is quick.
I know. My favorite thing is when it launches and that it's got the cab on the back, and that cab The back window in the cab is flapping.
Right? Yeah, it's so funny.
It's a great sleeper look. It might be one of the best I've seen. Although I think the best I've ever seen is, I'm not sure if there's any YouTube video of it, but there is a Hot Rod article. We talked a lot about Hot Rod lately, it seems like, but and it is posted online. It's a guy built this Nova, and it's like a twin turbocharged V8 Nova, probably like a 70 or a 71 Nova,
right?
And he's done, like, he kept the bench seat, but I mean, he went just like scientific as far as hiding everything. I mean, he did the like rally wheels with the hub, not even a rally wheel, just a steel wheel with a hubcap.
Right, yeah.
And he went as far as to like modifying the tires so they looked like a regular tire, but it was a street slick and all this. I mean, yeah, just amazing work that the guy did. But, well, so what is your favorite sleeper, Joe, if you had to pick? I put you on the spot here, but...
Oh, yeah, he put me right on the spot. My favorite sleeper...
think about this, too.
Yeah. You know what?
It's hard to pick, I'm telling you, because there's so many different varieties, There's some cars that sort of have a performance angle to it. Like... You can see a 5.0 Mustang. I remember, like, there was an LX 5.0 Mustang that just looked all stock.
Yeah.
But ran like 10s way back in the day. And we called that a sleeper because, it was fairly quiet. It didn't have any fancy anything on it. You couldn't see any gauges. But the thing just, shocked everybody when it ran.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of the appeal on the Mitsubishis, on the, all-wheel drive turbo Mitsubishis and Eagles and Lasers back in the day, was that nobody really knew how quick they could be,
Yeah. Well, I'm on various forums and things, and if you ever see me on there, if anyone has seen me on there, my screen name was always Underdog, and there's a component of a sleeper, like an underdog component of a sleeper, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's I think Mitsubishi has that same had that same underdog kind of component to it, where no one, they were completely underestimated.
Yeah, definitely.
There was an old comparison where, an Eclipse GSX was in a huge comparison against all sorts of stuff, every performance car from like 92. And I remember looking at that old article and how well the Eclipse did. It was up near the top and everything, acceleration, braking, handling, and I just remember seeing that. It just blew my mind back then. So that was in essence a sleeper. I mean, it was a car you didn't expect to beat Mustangs and Camaros back then.
Right, and I think the Galant, like your Galant, kind of takes it to another level with the four-door family sedan look,
Yeah, I had a lot of fun building that car too, and I mean, the only thing bad about a sleeper, if I had this, I mean, I love that car and it's fun to drive, and I don't regret putting it together that way for a second. I love opening the hood and it all looks stock under there still.
Yeah. Even
with the recent mods where I did a couple, less stock looking things, I mean, it's just fun to open up the hood and know that all that cool stuff's in there.
Right.
But my lost my train of thought here. Let's see. So where was I, Joe? Let's see here. This is what happens to me on Sunday nights.
Oh boy. No, what are we talking about? Galant VR4 sleepers and having a stock underhood?
Yeah. I forget what I was going to... the bad thing about a sleeper. Here we go. So, is the fact that 99% of any car people sort of pay it no mind.
Right.
Or even non-car people.
Yeah, especially the Galant, I would say.
Like, I mean, but I will say when I drive it, I think it looks different enough on the road compared to everything else that it really stands out. I mean, there was a time when a boxy car just looked like everything else on the road.
Yeah, definitely.
Now a boxy car is completely weird and unique looking compared to all these sort of orbs that drive around. So,
right. So I feel like lately there's like a performance variation of all cars, like... you have BMW, and they've had the M series, for years. Lexus now has the F types. If you don't look closely, you might be up against a very quick car if you're, racing on the street or whatever. You might not realize what you're up against with some of these performance variations.
I know, especially when you got manufacturers supporting performance ECU flashes and stuff like we were talking about last week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to know. It might look and sound completely stock and be a lot faster. Yeah, it's especially with all these turbocharged cars running around. So just about anything can be a sleeper now. I have to say, though, one of my all-time favorites is one of the famous videos on YouTube of, remember the old minivans, the old Chrysler minivans that had the turbo?
Yeah, definitely.
And you could do all the hop-ups on those.
Right.
And
there's lots of guys out there running pretty quick in the quarter mile on those things.
Yeah, there was a guy by the name of Gus that was one of the first websites I remember, like car modding websites I remember visiting.
Yeah.
And he was into all the turbo Dodges, and he had one of those minivans and everything, and it was doing all the, Home Depot type modifications to him, modifying the blow-off valves and porting turbos, and he passed on, but that's still a great website, and it's still up. And if anybody wants to check it out there, I think his name was Gus. Mahon was his last name, but really great website from that era of modifying turbo cars and sort of learning, it was all new and it was a good time. Yeah,
I feel like turbos, they were kind of mysterious, for a long time. And I think that helped cars like we were talking about, the Mitsubishis, the Dodges. It helped those cars be sleepers, but, they're kind of outed at this point.
Yeah, you're right, though. There was a time when a turbocharger was... the Grand National had that going for it. I remember folks in my family and around me not understanding how that car could do such a gigantic burnout.
Right, with a little V6 in it.
Yeah, or how it could be so fast at the track. You would see him just trounce big block cars and stuff at the track, and it just was like, did not compute to some of my older families that weren't into that technology, didn't understand it,
Right. So, yeah, you see a Mustang or a Camaro or something like that, a Corvette, you kind of expect it to be fast,
Yeah.
Those cars, you don't expect it. I think that gives me one more pointer on of what kind of sleepers are pretty cool is you have people that are doing like 240 SX with a LS1 swap. Pretty much just about anything with an LS swap in it is quite the sleeper,
Yeah, I think what qualifies it is you can, it's a low profile engine, so it's like you can fit it under any hood.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's the thing. It's like if they run the right exhaust setup or whatever, it really and it seems like everyone slaps a turbo on them too. It's like the LS motor comes with a turbo now if you swap it.
Yeah, I think it does.
It's a package deal.
It at least comes with a coupon for one, I'm sure of that.
A coupon for a turbo. I like that. 10% off. All right, well, Joe, I could go on all day about sleepers. Easily. But
yeah.
I've got something very important to talk about.
Okay, let's hear it.
Now, folks, for those of you listening at home or in your car, wherever you are right now, I'm going to need you to check out a video, okay? Now, we'll post a link to this on our various social media outlets. Something happened in 1988, Joe.
1988.
This is paint the picture. This was the Chicago Auto Show.
Okay.
And to launch, I think it was the Chevy Spectrum or something, but in order to launch this car, Chevrolet thought it would be a good idea. They wanted to launch this car in a really impactful and memorable way, a way that folks so many years later would still be talking about, like on a podcast, possibly.
Yeah.
So what they did...
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chevrolet Footlockers.
The Footlockers.
Yep.
Chevrolet hired these three gentlemen. Oh, here they go. Oh, listen to that music.
Music screams 1988.
Now, you guys are going to need to see this video if you haven't already. Now, let me describe what they're doing. These are three dudes. They're dressed. Wow, there's so much happening. I can't even describe it quick enough.
I've also seen this video. And
yeah, help me out here. Gosh,
like
Joe.
Three guys that look like Patrick Swayze.
Yes.
Like from Dirty Dancing or something. I don't know.
Wow, and they're just doing splits, and they got some b-boy stuff going on, right?
Oh, they got moves.
They got moves. I mean, these guys are athletic dudes. They got the moves. Anywhere they're doing this dance, and they're just boom, Look at them. There they go. There they go. There they go. Man.
Just
Anyway,
makes you want to buy a Chevrolet, doesn't it?
it does. Oh, I'm sorry. This was for the Cavalier.
Ooh, Z24.
Yeah, the
I
new
assume.
Cavalier Z24 and the convertible at that.
Oh man,
And so
what a
the
car!
The Chevy Foot Lockers were a dance crew,
Yep.
and they came out, and they just, and the crowd eerily silent during this whole thing. No cheering, no clapping, no hey, And then the best part of the video, I almost don't want to give it away, but let me just, for those of you that won't be able to watch
oh
it.
Boy. Okay.
At the end, when they bust out the nunchucks, that's the best. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
that
I want to cry at the end of this video when those nunchucks come out.
Yeah, well, just when you think they couldn't take it up another level.
No,
They do.
I mean, they're doing all these breakdancing, hip hop, ahead of their time, hip hop moves, and then boom, nunchucks, I don't even. How do you? What's the correct?
I'm not sure.
Numb. I mean, you're numb if it smacks you in the back of the head. I don't know if you had a set of those when you were a kid, Joe, but my brother
I did, yeah.
and I believe I borrowed them at least more than once, and yeah. I wasn't as good as the Chevy Foot Lockers with them. Let's just say that. So, folks,
Right.
please check out that video. Your life is not complete until you see this.
Yeah, and to that video, I say, dude, did you see that?
Oh, dude, I saw that. And, dude, I'm going to be watching that again later. It's impressive.
All right, we'll get that posted up on our Facebook page so that you listeners can be viewers.
And if there's two dudes out there that listen to the show, maybe we can meet up, and you go to the DSM shootout. Maybe we can meet up. We can get this routine going. We can practice, and we can get this dance routine going.
Oh, yeah, I'm in.
Recreate the Chevy Foot Lockers at the DSM shootout.
Oh, boy.
Hope we don't
Tom.
have to live up to that. All right, next up, let's hit our last topic of episode number 5 here. And we got a listener question, Joe. You have it over there?
Yeah, I do. Listener question. This question was submitted by Reese Ramsey on the Tom and Joe Auto Show YouTube channel.
Reese.
Reese, he asks, what was the scariest moment of driving ever experienced?
Like by man?
I assume he means for each of us.
Oh, for
but,
each of us. Okay.
He
was gonna
gives
say,
an
'cause
example of his own scariest moment.
See, I like Reese already. He's like, I'm putting myself out there immediately.
Yeah, so we'll give Reese's description of his scariest moment, and then we'll go on with ours. How's that sound?
Okay, I got one too. Whew.
Yeah, I got one too. So let's go with Reese. Reese, he says he had his old 240 SX was pretty low, and he once had a semi-truck merge into him, sending the car into a huge ditch. He says his coilovers saved his car from flipping. Yeah,
That's
that
intense.
doesn't sound any fun.
It's intense, man. You know
All
what?
right, so-
That's coilovers. They're a safety feature. Let's just admit it right now.
Yeah, you should get an insurance discount for having those.
Tell your insurance guy that. Try to explain the concept of coilovers to your average insurance person on the phone there.
Right, in your spare time. Oh boy!
Say,
So
man, just
what do
say,
you
look,
think?
man, my man Reese kept him from flipping over on the highway. I deserve a discount.
Boy.
So, do you want to hear mine, or what do you want to do? You want to go
Yeah,
first?
you go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, mine, I've got a few for sure. Let me. The one that is definitely the scariest to me was, I was a teenager driving back. I volunteered at the Science Center in Pittsburgh back in the day.
All right.
Sounds pretty nerdy, but it was actually really fun. And so I was driving back from that in my '69 Mercedes, which, disclaimer, sounds cool, was not cool, was a rust bucket. Driving from Pittsburgh, dark, terrible headlights on this thing.
Right.
Anyway, I was driving. It was later than I should have been driving at that age. Driving, going down Interstate 79. It's probably winter. Wake up in the grass. It's bumpy.
Oh, no.
I fell asleep at the wheel.
Yep.
Straight ahead is a bridge, like a bridge opening, like the concrete part.
Yep.
And I was able to just sort of slide it and cut the wheel. I don't know. I was probably, who knows, jamming on the brakes. I don't know what was happening. Cut the wheel. I kind of skidded out in the dirt. And avoided slamming into this bridge and going down, I mean, that would have been the end of me for sure. But that is still one that if I get the least bit tired, I pull over and I stop driving. That one moment just scared me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that will learn you.
Whew, intense. So that's mine, Joe.
All right. My scariest driving moment was actually on the track. Okay. And when I had my old red Plymouth Laser, it was a low 10-second car for a long time. It did finally break into the nines. It consistently went over 140 miles an hour in the quarter mile. So
loved it.
At 140 miles an hour.
Oh no!
in a front-wheel drive drag car that has skinnies on the back. It has 26-inch slicks in the front with about 5 psi in them.
Oh.
And it's a car that weighs right at 2,000 pounds. Okay, so it's not really
it's like a
the
golf
most
cart.
settling car to drive at 140 miles an hour from the get-go.
140 mile per hour golf cart.
Yeah. So I'm at the track, and I'm making a pass, and I had Lexan windows on that car, and I basically just cut them from the original windows as templates, and I kind of rolled them up the way the stock windows went into the window channels, and then I secured the bottom edge of the Lexan inside the door. So the top edge was just kind of pressed into the channel where the factory glass would go. I was making a pass. I was probably close to the 1,000-foot mark. I was past the 8th mile. Well over 100 miles an hour at this point, and the passenger side window came loose from the track in the top.
Oh.
It stayed secured at the bottom, which turned it into a wing.
Oh, no. Now, are you
on the side of my car.
Staying in it?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to qualify.
I love that. Not even a hesitation. Well, yeah.
Yeah, of course I am. I'm trying to qualify.
You got this airfoil wing hanging out there now.
And what it's doing is it's pulling. I'm in the right lane, and it's pulling me to the right.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
So I counter steer a little bit. I turn to the left, and as I increase speed towards the end of the track, I'm turning farther to the left and farther to the left until finally my arms touched.
Whoa.
As soon as I felt my arms touch each other, turning the wheel 90 degrees to the left,
whoa!
I finally did get out of it, and right at like a few feet before the finish line. But I really, that was my last chance for qualifying, and I thought it was really important that I make a good pass, and honestly, it probably wasn't worth all of that.
Yeah. Wow, Joe, I had no idea.
Yeah, that was the scariest moment for sure. I just kept getting pulled towards the wall, closer and closer to the wall, and probably should have got out of it a long time ago.
And I've never had a situation like that, but it gives you a respect for aerodynamics. I'm sure
yeah, definitely.
Something as simple as that, tossing that car around in that way.
Yeah, it was really grabbing a lot of air, and it was really pulling that car out of line.
Well,
so yeah, that was my scariest moment.
Well, let me give you another. I'll give you a bonus one here. Quick.
Okay.
71 Ford Torino.
Oh, a gem.
Yeah, brown. Brown all around, inside and out.
Yeah, that's a good 70s color.
Yeah. Didn't secure the hood properly. Went out to test my new, chrome air cleaner.
Right.
At the 302 4-barrel up in there in the cam and such. Boom, hood straight up on that thing. And I tell you what, the hood on that was like 30 or 40 feet long. And
that's a big hood.
When it came up, it was darkness. It was it was midnight. I mean, there was no seeing around this thing. And I definitely was not in a residential area, okay? Let me just make that clear.
Right.
So anyway, I'm in this residential area, and I'm not in the residential, and the hood flies up, darkness. That was pretty scary.
So what did you do? Did you kind of look through the crack or stick your head out the window like Ace Ventura?
There was no looking around this 30-foot hood. I had 4-wheel drum brakes on this thing, stood on the brakes. Like I said, it would have been a real problem if I were in a residential area, but I was sort of on a closed course, so it was fine. I was able to come to a nice stop. And the amazing thing, it barely even hurt the hood. It just barely touched the edges, and I sort of whacked them with a rubber mallet, and it was fine.
Oh, that's amazing. I've had a hood come up and haven't been that lucky with it. So
Built Ford tough, these old hinges kept it from smacking the windshield. Yeah, a lot of the times it bends back and smacks the windshield and the top of the car and everything else.
Right.
I saw the cleanest looking 1G I'd seen in a long time, a few shootouts ago, that the just perfect looking 1G, and the hood came up and smacked and cracked the window and the sunroof and buckled the roof, and it just made a mess.
Oh yeah, that'll cause a bunch of damage.
Yeah. So anyway, good topic
right.
there, Reese. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Reese, and thanks to everybody who's been listening to the podcasts. We're looking for some more questions. Anyone wants to submit any questions to our Facebook or to our email at tomandjoesemail@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, give us a toughie.
Yeah, that's something like something to really get us thinking.
A real brain twister. Yeah, that's what we
Brain twister. All right, Tom. Well, I guess that's the end of episode 5.
All right, Joe. It's been fun. I appreciate it.
All right, Tom. We'll talk soon.
All right, see you.